just the Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four. Okay. Yes, we will get sued. Somebody spell fantastic so I spell it right.
Fantastic.
Good, I spelled it right.
This isn't Frank.
Fantastic Four with an E.
Yay.
Okay, fine. It's Fantastic Four. Are you happy now?
Yes, we're very happy.
Okay, for those of you who are wondering where the hell those voices are coming from, it's like we have me and James, and then we have, as James's good conscience, Commodore 256, and as the devil on his shoulder, Leo, because he has decided that the best thing to do with a troll is pour gasoline on them and be a troll pyro. So, you know what? We're going to call him Troll Pyro for the rest of the episode. Hence the Fantastic Four he was insisting on. Okay, Pyro. Alright, now that we've gotten that straightened out, we were supposed to have a fifth, but they seem to be MIA, and they may come in mid... Commodore, if he comes in midstream, feel free to add him in, okay? Where the heck do we want to start?
Good question. Anything actually from the troll? Oh wait, yeah.
Yes, we do actually have something from the troll. He's complaining about the fact that the videos always have the heads like superimposed and zoomed in, and unfortunately that's a byproduct of the oh dear god jerry-riggedness of us, and that people are calling in one standard and other things, and we're having to plug them in, and James is going to sit back to appease the troll. There we go. Appeasing the troll. Troll appeasement. There we go. Now he doesn't have anything to complain about, except for the fact that we don't hate Linux. I'm sure he'll complain endlessly about that.
Hey, what about Windows Phone 7 James?
What was that, Commodore?
What about Windows Phone 7 James?
Well, where is he?
You know, if he was here, you'd be here to bash Linux.
Okay.
For the record, as far as the whole gasoline thing we're talking about, I didn't know what he was talking about. I thought he was talking about the quality of the video. And so I was pointing out, you know, we're making this in Windows.
Well, to be honest, we're using both. We're using Linux, Apple, and Microsoft to produce this very poorly, because there isn't the tools we need to do this. And all the fuck-ups caused by trying to make these people play nice with each other and everything else, I would love nothing more than a purely Linux solution, because I know it would not fuck up. But
part of that is that you're too lazy to edit the videos yourself.
I do some post-production, and I do fix the audio as best I can in the post-production, because you don't want to know what the audio's like before I tweak it. You really, really don't. It's like, as bad as the sound is, it's worse before we tweak it. But yeah, it's just... hopefully it will get better in time. We had a plan to fix it. Unfortunately, Mr. Darkside's computers wouldn't quite work right, and now we're re-hodgepodged in the last minute.
Yeah, that's... I have no idea what was going on there.
You'll like figure it out 5 minutes after we're done taping and go, oh, wait a minute! Okay, do we want to start with statistics? And actually, if we're going to start with statistics, we could add the current web browser and OS stats for the last quarter, because I still haven't talked about those yet. Or we want to start with the AT&T what the effedness, or with the various iPhone mid-rumorsness, or just the other weird shit. Any preference?
Not really.
I'm good.
Okay, what do we think about the fact that AT&T is being sued yet again?
Thank God.
Thank God? Is that the best you have to say, good conscience?
Yes.
It's
But
apparently...
I'm supposed to be the good side.
Okay. There we go. Honestly, I find this kind of funny, to be quite honest. Apparently, this guy bought an iPhone, bought the 200 megabyte plan, basically turned everything off, turned the phone off in a quarter, and somehow still used over the 200 megabytes worth of data. I'm not sure AT&T should really be being sued over this, as we all know the idle is just going to use over 200 megabytes. But, this is kind of why the hell is there even a 200 megabyte plan for a smartphone?
Wait. They tried shit like that back in the day.
Why would idle use over 200 megabytes?
The guy's claiming, if you click on link 2, it gives you some more specifics, because the first one's the general, the link 2 one actually tells you the specifics, that he bought the 200 megabyte one, and he used like 270 megabytes, I think it is.
But I'm just understanding, what about a smartphone makes idle use?
If these things are on at all, and they're connecting to the network, which they are by default unless you turn the antenna off, simply the act of being connected is using, am I still connected? Am I still connected? Am I still connected?
I mean, I could be sending, a ping pong to a server just like I see, constantly for years and not, well, maybe not years, but I could constantly send it for, months and not hit 200 megabytes. 200 megabytes is quite a lot of, that's.
But the idle is a good chunk, and depending on the idle ping back, it gets up and it gets going. Depending on.
I was interested in what exactly keeps getting sent over these idle devices.
I would guess that it's queries as far as just whether or not there is something to sell or whatever. It's got to do one for every program.
I have a question. If you have a smartphone with a 200 megabyte a month data plan, then why have a data plan at all?
That's the real question. It's the real thing is these AT&T plans are ridiculous. The 2 gigabyte one is too small. Then alone the 200 megabyte one. I don't care that it's $15 a month. Emails will eat that up. Idle can eat that up with any web usage at all. Basically, this guy didn't even use 300 megabytes with the phone just sitting around almost doing nothing.
Shit back in the day, and they got in trouble for it, huh?
Well, and that's the thing here. That's where the suit's coming from. But I'm not sure the suit really has any justification. And he's claiming he turned everything off. But, I've seen idle. I have seen idle in some cases get close to kissing that. James is right. It shouldn't. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it won't. It just depends how efficient the idle is. And I doubt AT&T has any interest whatsoever in the idle being efficient at all. This is, I think, directly related to the fourth story in the list, that supposedly AT&T is offering unlimited plans to iPhone users. But this is one of those don't tell anybody type things. It's like, you can get an unlimited plan, but don't tell anyone. We don't really sell them, but you can have one. It's like,
I don't think that's a good idea to do.
What? To offer them, or to offer them on the sly like that?
No, to offer them at all, specifically to offer them to iPhone customers. I realize it's a reaction to Verizon having it, but the problem is that the majority of AT&T's smartphone users, as I understand it, is not iPhone. They have the largest, it is the most popular smartphone, but they still do have a pretty sizable sum of other phones and stuff. And when people see, that this iPhone's getting special treatment, all the people that don't want it, that's kind of going to make them feel mad. And that's going to cause a lot of, the majority of their customers aren't iPhone users. So,
well, and this isn't an official position of AT&T. This is one of those things. AT&T says, come bitch at us and we'll give you an unlimited plan. But it's not official. But we'll do it. Because we're afraid. Because we don't want you to go to Verizon. And yeah, because we realize data caps suck. But stay with us anyways. It will take them away. As long as you stay with us. And the particulars of this are really kind of unknown. We don't know if they have to sign a 5-year contract or something, or
I'm also wondering about something like you said. There's 2-year contracts now. Is there ever going to be something like 5-year contracts on these phones?
Well, the real reason the contracts are 2 years is because the ability to enforce a civil contract varies from state to state. And the universal minimum, why in some states it's 4 years, in some states it's 7 years, but everywhere in the country it's at least 2 years. Which is why they arbitrarily picked the 2-year out of a hat, because they can enforce that everywhere. They can take you to court, they can take collections, they can do stuff against you for the 2-year contract. If they start making it longer, some unscrupulous people AT&T would try and take collection efforts against them for breaching the contract, and they go, no, the max time limit for a contract, yada yada, has expired, and you can't do that. It looks like James might be on Commodore. You might want to try and add him.
Okay.
The other James, the Phone 7 James. But that's the real reason they picked. Now, these things are changing all the time, and the statute of limitations that you can actually pursue these things are changing. In all likelihood, it'll probably be 3 or 4 years within 5 years or so, because they'll change under law conditions. It's law catching up to services. It is the real holdup there.
What I find interesting is that with these 2-year contracts, you could buy some phones that, as I understand, cost like $500 to make, and you get them free. It'd be interesting to see what kind of devices you could get. In fact, it would seem that pretty much everything you would always get a free phone with a 5-year contract.
Just so you know, you're getting cut off at your nose. Like your mouth isn't showing up on the video.
Wouldn't want to upset certain commenters.
Yeah, we have trolls to keep happy, man. Yeah, well, no, and honestly, the iPhone itself costs more than the $200 it sold for. It's the only loss leader that Apple sells, literally.
Well, they still make,
Oh, no, I'm not a loss leader. I didn't say they lose money on it. I said it's a loss leader. Out the door, they lose money on it. First few apps you buy, they're money up. It's that simple. It's so close to the $200 they sell it for. It's not even funny. But it's not, and they're definitely making their money back on it between the sharing with AT&T and all the money they get off the apps. It's not like that's a problem there.
I thought that how they got money from these contracts is that AT&T would pay them basically a large sum for the contract.
We don't actually know the particulars of that. The two theories are they either get the lump sum, and if that's the case, they're set the day the phone sells because they get the difference from the lump sum. The other theory is they get a lump sum, but the lump sum is contingent to the person actually honoring the contract. So if the person breaches the contract, their next lump sum payment is that lump sum minus all the breached contracts percentage not paid. Yeah, is usually how that works. Like you get the money up front, but it's not actually yours till they've fully honored the contract that it's being paid for. And that's the theory pretty much everyone's subscribing to, because that's just usually how those agreements work. And on that note, while we're talking about contracts and limitations and black box unlimited and yada yada, what do we think about the fact that AT&T sending all their iPhone customers emails explaining about the limitations of CDMA?
Well, that's funny.
Yeah. It's like there's these little email reminders that went out to all the AT&T iPhone customers that go, these are the limitations of CDMA. This is why you shouldn't leave us and go to Verizon. It's like,
Oh God.
I wonder how many people read that email and be like, wait, I could get the iPhone on Verizon now?
yeah. In case any iPhone customers on AT&T didn't realize that they could go to Verizon, they know now. If they've been living under a rock or something, that's like, Well, you're thinking that's going to backfire on AT&T and a bunch of people that were just oblivious and don't watch TV anymore are like, oh, you mean I can ditch AT&T? Yes!
You guys keep talking. I'll be back.
All right.
I'd love to see those AT&T, former AT&T iPhone customers would switch to Verizon and have just as many drop balls as bad antenna.
That is going to be the $50 billion question, to be quite honest. Is the iPhone going to have better reception on Verizon than it does on AT&T?
I think it will artificially because they want to make a lot of money with the Verizon iPhone. Yeah.
But, I mean, do you honestly see if it really is an iPhone design flaw, Apple completely redesigning the iPhone for Verizon launch? This is Apple we're talking about.
Well, for PR purposes, they would.
What PR purposes? They didn't care about people holding the phone the wrong way. Okay, I'm sorry. I promised I would never talk about AntennaGate again. I'm sorry. I have a new thing to talk about. We just need to come up with a name for it. You were saying something, James?
Well, I hear it has nothing to do with what I was going to say before, but I guess I could still make a comment so that it feels like I was going to make a comment. But anyway, what I can say is that what I hear is that people say that they only have bad reception with AT&T when they're in the Bay Area and San Francisco and stuff like that.
I personally think these cities are just overloaded, and something about the architecture of them is not conducive to signals flowing well.
But what I'm saying is that's from what I've heard, that's the only places that people report AT&T having trouble. Everywhere else, people don't have any more trouble with it than Verizon.
That's not true. I can vouch from that parts of southern Texas have problems with iPhones. From people I've talked to, I can vouch that large parts of Florida have problems with iPhones from people I've talked to. I can vouch that large parts of the Rocky Mountain Range have problems with iPhones from people I've talked to. There's more reports from these major cities, but it's not isolated solely to these major cities. And it's it's like there's people from all over who complain about it. What's going to really count is will these woes be fixed by Verizon, or will they be just as bad? And nobody really knows at this point. We'll find out on the 11th when people either praise Verizon or start bitching. One of the two will happen. We don't know which. Okay. Do we care about this? So I guess we transition into Android land. It's AT&T, of course. Their other reaction to the fact that
funny?
What?
So this is PC versus Mac. We haven't talked about PCs. Specifically, we haven't talked about Windows in I don't know how many episodes. It's all been Android and Apple and.
Well, it's platform wars in general, and as of late, that's Android versus iOS versus
Windows Phone.
Yeah, versus Windows Phone, and our Windows Phone guy didn't show up. He said he was going to. He's not here.
Is there anyone here who even uses Windows?
Yeah, I'm using Windows 7 right now.
Yeah,
Holy cow.
Commodore is a weird person, as evident by the Frankentosh he's built.
Yeah, you gotta see that video. I gotta show you sometime.
Yeah, well, it's on your channel. People can go see it.
Using Windows 7 is a sin. I think we should swap me and him as the good and bad ones.
Well, this is why I use Windows 7. I only had one solution to death in Windows 7. Guess how many excellent crashes I had one day? About 7 or 5, I don't know.
All right, Tandra. What did you say, James?
I said, what's the bigger sin, using Windows 7 or setting someone on fire?
Windows 7, definitely.
I'm not sure. Commodore, you're
You haven't
supposed
seen the website from the Free Software Foundation? It's definitely Windows 7.
Oh, come on.
I've seen that.
Okay, we're turning into fanboys now.
I prefer the Affected by Design website.
we should just change the name to Fanboys R Us or something. What do we think about the fact that
You got too many of us, you're going to lose control.
I like, to be honest, I like Windows 7.
It's not a bad OS. It's just missing some things it should have.
I agree. I've never hated it. I like a lot of the things it does, and I think it looks pretty nice. I just prefer Linux, but I don't hate it. But
The only thing I hate about it is it doesn't like to play nice with other OSs. But that's something to be expected from Windows.
I fixed that problem. Do you know how I did that?
You turned all that crap off?
I put in 2 hard drives.
Oh, okay. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the network stuff. Yeah, the fact that it kind of wants all the computers on the network to be either Vista or Windows 7. And anyways, back to the platforms at hand. Trying to transition. Obviously, AT&T plans to add Android devices. Do we think they're actually serious about this now, or are they just claiming to? Because, they've been saying they're adding Android devices for about the last year, and they've all been jokes. Just complete...
But what about the Galaxy S devices?
It's not a joke, but it's not quite on par with what it could be, and my big problem with the Galaxy S is that the memory's not swappable. So you have to buy a whole new phone to upgrade the memory, unlike any other Android device. That's kind of a...
Well, the Nexus S has that problem.
People who,
that's what he was talking about.
They want iPhones, right?
That's what he was talking about.
Not the Galaxy S, the Nexus S.
Oh, I've got them mixed up now then. Sorry.
The Nexus S you can't swap out.
No.
No, you can't.
So the Galaxy... Okay, never mind. I was thinking of the Nexus S, not the Galaxy S. Yeah, and the Nexus S, the memory is built in like an iPhone. You have to buy a whole new phone. You can't just swap the memory card out.
It does not deserve the Nexus name.
That's what I said when we found out about that. I'm like, that's bullshit right there.
See, no, the Nexus is all about being totally Android, totally customizable.
I think the new flagship Android phones would, instead of being a Nexus, it'll be the Droids because it has a Droid. You like Android, and people are going to call it a Droid phone even though they have an HTC phone.
Well, that's not entirely true. Over the holidays, I was sitting down with somebody, and I was just sitting randomly by random people, just waiting in a public services building, government building, trying to get in and get some crap straightened out. And there was somebody there with the phone, and it was very, it's on, and the reaction wasn't, oh, is that like blah blah iPhone? It was, oh, is that blah version of the Evo that's on the blah network? That was like the reaction from the people around looking at it. So, if you have any doubt about which platform is shining over, it's like the immediate assumption isn't that it's an iPhone or an iPhone knockoff. It's that it's a knockoff of an Android device, like the Evo or the Droid, which is, so like you're saying, yeah, though a lot of people do associate it with the Evo now too, which I kind of found surprising. I wouldn't have believed that if I hadn't seen it, to be quite honest.
Really?
I've noticed that if you look around and just look at people and see, the kind of phones they have, if people have tattoos, they're more likely to have an Android phone.
And if they're all clean and Christian, they're more likely to have an iPhone? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that.
Where do I fit?
I don't know.
If people have tattoos, they're more likely to have an Android phone that I've seen. I mean, tell me if anyone else has seen this,
I haven't really been seeing a lot of people with tattoos the places I've been going, so I don't know.
People who, wear saggy pants and stuff like that. Those also more likely to have an Android phone.
Okay. So So, okay, before we move on, do we think AT&T is serious, or are they just saying they're going to be having Android now? Are they going to be? Do we think if iPhone begins to plummet at AT&T, do we think AT&T is going to start to better support Android, or do we think they're going to go all gung ho behind Phone 7?
I think they did the Phone 7 thing because they were the first ones to show up there, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that pretty much answers it.
My dad was actually making this comment that the only ads he's seen for Windows Phone 7 is from AT&T. So I don't know, but I think that they may be waiting out to see the effect of the iPhone on Verizon. Like a lot of people are saying that Android's going to get demolished, but probably not. And maybe, if it shows that the iPhone market share overall, of course it will have a boost, but if it overall starts, sinking in comparison to other OSs, then I definitely think they would go either the Android way or the Windows Phone 7.
But the reality is, think about what's going to happen. We're having the Verizon kickoff this month. Sometime in the next quarter or so, we're likely to have an iPad 2 or an iPhone 5 or both. Realistically, for all that dust to settle, we're looking at end of fourth quarter to have accurate numbers.
However, a new release of the iPhone does not, as shown with the iPhone 4, does not necessarily increase market share. The iPhone 4 hardly increased market share at all for iOS, because almost every single person that bought an iPhone 4 already owned a previous version of the iPhone.
That's true. Of course, the other things going on with the iPhone 4 probably didn't help that any. So
Interrogate or death grip.
I said I was nice and didn't name it, and there goes the bad conscience. It's just like
Hey, I've been upgraded.
Great, I've invested.
Okay, moving on.